I think believing in myself that I could do this business. I grew up with not a lot of self-confidence, belief in myself. My business is now, in our 13th year of business. It's only when you take a step back and you think about wow, 13 years, that's really pretty impressive when you look at the number of businesses that fail within the first 5 years or the first 10 years. And so I think, a couple of years ago, just kind of seeing how I built the business up, that it was running to a point without me on a day-to-day basis, and just really seeing that, okay, this can be grown to a 7-figure business, a multiple 7-figure business. There's nothing stopping me from doing that. And just really understanding that, okay, grow the team, trust the team, delegate, let other people do what they do best as well, not get in the way, don't be the bottleneck.
Welcome to A Founder's Life. I'm your host, Leo Gestetner. On this show, we dive into the real stories behind the highs and lows of entrepreneurship and how we pursue a more balanced and meaningful life along the way. This podcast is sponsored by Thanks, helping founders like us scale with reliable remote talent. Email founders@thanks.com. That's THANKZ.com with the subject line A Founder's Life, and you'll get $1,000 off your first month. Now, I'm excited to be joined by Kerry Postel. Kerry, it's great to have you here. Can you kick things off by introducing yourself to our audience?
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you for having me. So excited to be here as well. So my name's Kerry Postel. I own Abacus Business Solutions, which is an accounting and coaching business. We're located in Central Florida, but I actually live back in England. I lived in the States for 19 years, and that's when I started my business. And then a couple of years ago, I moved back to be closer to friends and family and to just be able to run the business remotely, which is how I always set it up that I could do that one day. So yeah, living in Central England now. I'm married, got a 11-year-old son, and kind of living the best of both worlds.
Lovely. And tell us a little bit about your work journey that brought you to where you are today, and then the kind of things you're doing for your clients.
So I was one of those kids that never knew what I wanted to do when I grew up, just had no idea, and was never sort of drawn to a particular career or anything. And it was only when I went to college, I had to do work experience between my 2 years. So I went to work with my mom, who needed 3 months help in her office, and she ran the accounting department for a manufacturing company. And that's when I discovered for my love of numbers. And so that's how I decided, ended up being in bookkeeping, and worked for 2-3 different companies in the UK before moving out to the States. And when I was in the States, I worked for a general contractor for 6 years, which was a great experience. I had 3 days of training, I think. I had no idea how to do American payroll, lien releases, notice of commencements, and all that construction stuff, but learned it all. And over the 6 years, had various roles from office manager to project coordinator, run the office when the boss was out of town, and just a great experience, but also realized that I could help more businesses if I wasn't working directly for one. And so that's what made me decide to start Abacus, so that I could work with multiple clients. A CPA there that we worked with at the construction company really encouraged me about the quality of my work. So I was like, okay, well, I don't want to work for my boss any longer. And this seemed a great opportunity. And we help our clients to know, understand, and trust their numbers. That's what it comes down to. There's so many business owners out there that are just running their business blind. They have no idea how much money they're making, how much money maybe they're losing, where their expenses are going, and then what changes they need to make. So that's where our focus is on, is making sure that our clients don't just have their numbers, but they understand what they mean and what it's telling them, and what they need to do, if anything, to improve their position.
Excellent. And tell me what family means to you. So what your family looks like and what it means to you.
So living abroad for 19 years definitely makes you appreciate that family time with my parents and my siblings and niece and nephews. And when I moved out to Florida at the time, I was in my 20s, and I was just kind of like, this will be fun. Didn't realize what that was going to be like, being away from family, missing out on all the family get-togethers, just hearing about it after, seeing the photos. And so that was tough. The reason I moved to the States was that my husband's mother was still alive at the time, and he didn't want to sort of leave her. Nobody expected her to live another sort of 17 years, but that's okay. It was great to have her around for that time. And it was when she passed away, that's when I was like, you know what? It's time to move home. My parents are, getting older. My siblings had kids, and I was missing out on them growing up. And I'd always had in my mind, if I had my laptop and internet connection, I could run the business from anywhere. And that was always my ultimate goal, that it didn't matter whether I was in the States, England, the other side of the world. I could still run this. And that's what my ultimate goal was. I didn't want to be stuck or tied to one place. And that's why I set up the model the way that I did. And being back with family now is so great. We've been back for 2 years and it's just so nice being at all the family get-togethers. My son had his birthday 4 months after we moved back. And I said, do you want to invite your new friends from school or do you want to invite family? And that included like my aunts and uncles, as well as, my siblings and my parents. And he's just like, no, I want family. So I think there was like 23, 24 of us, for the day. And then the next year I'm like, hey, now you know your friends a little bit better in school. Do you want to have a party with your friends? No, I want all family again. I'm like, okay. And his birthday is coming up again in a couple of months. And I've said, what do you want to do? He wants the family get together. So for him to have his grandparents around, his aunts, uncles, great aunts and uncles, has just been really special. Obviously, he's an only child as well. So that kind of makes that more special having his cousins around. And that's just, I didn't realize how much I'd missed out on those family get-togethers and just being able to call up my mom and be like, hey, do you want to meet up here? Do you want to go and do this? Can I come over? And so, it was a great experience living in the States. I have no regrets because I don't think I have my business or be the person I am today. But moving back and just being by family was the most important thing.
And your son then will have the choice to be where he wants to be. I mean, he'll have experienced, when he was younger, but he'll have experienced the US and the UK, and he'll be able to do what he wants when he grows up.
Yeah, he and I both have dual citizenship. So, he can decide to go back. I'm kind of hoping he doesn't. But yes, he has that option to be able to go and live in which country he wants to. So we'll see. At the moment, he's telling me he's never moving out. So we'll see what happens when he gets to 18.
And what do you like to do for fun?
So at the moment, I'm trying to make time to actually go out and do stuff and have fun just because the business has been so busy. That's a little bit of an issue sometimes because of the time difference with the States. So, I'm starting work at 9 a.m. England time, trying to finish around 5 or 6. But of course, the States is just waking up at that time. So there is a little bit of an issue of me having to stop. It's 6 o'clock. You've done 9 hours. It's time to spend time with family. So that's something that I'm working on. Maybe just 2 days a week I'll work late. But for fun, I'm actually going paddleboarding for the first time this weekend, which I'm super excited about. I love to walk the dog. We've got a golden doodle. And we've got a race course that's literally 3 minutes from my house. We've got a nice 3-mile walk we can go do with that. And then just going out. It's nice here to be able to go out and do walks in the forest and stuff. Whereas in Florida, it was always so hot that, most of the year, you're like, okay, let's get out early before it gets too warm. And so here, I just love being out in the nature. We've got the Malvern Hills, 30-minute drive from here. So just being outside without sweating, like we used to do in Florida the whole time is just nice. And just kind of, doing that fun stuff.
Perfect. And what do you like to do, or what does health mean to you? Meaning sleep, mental health, physical health, exercise, nutrition.
So I noticed, I think you have an Oura ring. So I've got a Whoop that I use to track things. I did have the Oura ring, but I changed the Whoop nearly a year ago. And that's really helped me to, particularly my sleep, because you kind of always feel like, oh, okay, I slept great. And this is one thing where it's letting me know, hey, you need to think about going to bed, or like, hey, you have a sleep debt. You need to figure that out. So that's helped me really focus on my health a lot more. And this is now just upgraded. They tell you what your, what kind of a different kind of age. So hey, this is your actual physical age, but this is kind of what, your calculated age is. And so now I feel like I'm in competition with myself to get that down, as much as possible. And then I was doing really good of taking care of myself, working out on a regular basis. Life gets in the way. So the last sort of 6 months, I've got a little bit lazy, but now I'm kind of right, back on track. I did go for a run last weekend. So now it's taking care of myself. 24 was a little bit of a rough year in the business. And so now it's a case, we're back on track. We've got a great team. And now it's time to start taking care of me as well. I actually just ordered one of those boxing machines that goes on the wall this morning. So I just ordered that. That'll be here tomorrow. So I'm hoping that's something me and my kid can do as well, just to get active.
That's cool. I done quite a lot of boxing with my son as well. And what does a balanced life look like for you?
I think right now I'm still trying to figure that out. It's definitely a work in progress. It's is the time zone difference is a little bit more of an issue than I anticipated. So that's why I'm thinking, okay, Tuesdays and Thursdays going to be my days that I work late. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I make sure by 6 o'clock I'm done and out of the office. So yeah, it's definitely wanting to spend that time growing the business, because I'm passionate about doing that, but also very conscious that my kid's 11, he'll be 12 this year, that, time's short. And then people will say to you, oh, you have like 6 summers left with him. I'm like, don't tell me that. Like that doesn't sound very long at all when he's then out doing his own thing and going on holiday with friends. So yeah, it's definitely something that I'm focused on more and more, particularly when he comes to me and, he's like, Mom, you're always working. And that's that real, stab in the heart of like, oh shoot, I am like, I got to get this, balanced out and stuff. So I don't work weekends though. That's something I haven't done probably for about, I'd probably say 6 or 7 years, just because I did burn out from working weekends. The house we had in Florida, my office was upstairs. And every time I walked upstairs, I used to feel this huge weight just come down on my shoulders as I walked up there. And I just realized that I used to work till 1 or 2 in the morning most nights. I was working weekends. I was just absolutely exhausted. And so from that time onwards, when I got my life back in check, I was like, right, that's it. I'm not doing weekends anymore. And I don't, the office is right upstairs here. The door gets closed on a Friday and I don't come in on the weekend until Monday morning and get started again. And that's been huge because I know, when you've got your office at home, it's really easy just to like, I'm just going to go work on that project. I'm just going to finish off that, job for the client. And I've just made a conscious effort not to do that because of how damaging it was back those few years ago.
Yeah, we all need to learn what works for us and what we can handle. Personally, when I go away on holiday, I still do some work. That's just my nature. I don't really do phone calls because I find those disturbing, whereas I find I can do a little bit of sort of emails and keep on top of other stuff. Other people need to completely switch off because that's what they need to recharge. And we all need to learn what works well for us. And on time with children, you were mentioning, yes, I mean, I think, it's really important that we spend time with our kids because it does go quickly. I can say that because my kids are 20 and 22 now. I'm a big believer in if it doesn't get scheduled, it doesn't get done. So like one option on that is you literally schedule the time. You're like, okay, this time is blocked out to spend the time with my son. That's the kind of thing I do quite a lot of. And what has been for you a pivotal moment in your life?
I think believing in myself that I could do this business. I grew up with not a lot of self-confidence, belief in myself. My business is now, in our 13th year of business. It's only when you take a step back and you think about like, wow, 13 years? Like that's really pretty impressive when you look at the number of businesses that fail within the first 5 years or the first 10 years. And so I think, a couple of years ago, just kind of seeing how I built the business up, that it was running to a point without me on a day-to-day basis, and just really seeing that, okay, this can be grown to a 7-figure business, a multiple 7-figure business. There's nothing stopping me from doing that. And just really understanding that, okay, grow the team, trust the team, delegate, let other people do what they do best as well, not get in the way, don't be the bottleneck. And so I think that within the last 2 years, we've had a lot of changes within the business, staff-wise, but now we're at a really good point where we've got 4 full-time accountants who are amazing. I've got an operations manager, an office manager, and my goal is to get out of overseeing the team and all day-to-day work by the end of the year and to focus on that. And that's kind of just been in the last year where it's like, okay, we can do this. Like we have this ability and just other people believing in me. And so that's where I just started like, right, if they can do it, I can do it.
Love that goal. What's one piece of advice you would give to an aspiring entrepreneur?
Well, that's a good question. I say not to give up. There were multiple times when I thought about giving up. One time I actually did go back and work for one of my clients for a year in 2017. And then I realized that I was a really bad employee and a much better leader. So I went, back working on the business. But yeah, I think not to give up. It's really easy when times get tough, when money gets tough, or just different situations get thrown at you. It's really easy to be like, okay, I'm just going to go back and get a job. I don't want to do this anymore. It's too hard. But just to push through on those times and just to believe in yourself, reach out, ask for help, I think is the biggest thing as well. Being an entrepreneur can be a really, really lonely place sometimes. And I think it's reaching out to others and knowing that you don't have all the answers. And I know that was like 3 answers to your question, but I think that's the other thing as well. We kind of feel that if I'm starting a business in this area, I should know all the answers. I should know what to do, how to do it. And I think it's realizing that no, you learn as you go along. As different situations come up, you figure it out and you move on.
Well, that makes sense. And how can people find you?
So they can go to our website, website at chooseabacus.com. I'm also on LinkedIn under Kerry Postel, and on Facebook under the business name Abacus Business Solutions. And then also my personal page is public as well, Kerry Postel.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you being on the show with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for listening for today's episode. If you enjoyed the conversation, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, tell your friends, and leave a review.